Hello, you're listening to The Loudlands, and this podcast is for photographers who are tired of gatekeeping, sick of the fluffy bullshit, and ready to hear the blunt truths about building a truly creative career. Now, today's episode is a bit of a full circle moment, as the cool kids say. A few months ago, you might recall, and you should do because you better be Uber fans at this point. I'm joking, you probably hate me. I was invited to speak at the photo and video show once again, this time in London, and also at the BIPP stand where I've just been announced as one of their new ambassadors. Whoop, whoop. And I was giving a talk straight up, no fluff. You can watch it on the YouTube and you can even see it on this podcast. And I was being honest. And from that moment, what happened? Well, let me tell you now. I am currently sat in a hide, one of those wildlife hides in rural Estonia. It's because of one connection, one conversation. It led me somewhere I never expected, which is right here with my friend Phil. Estonia, yep. Estonia is in Estonia near Russia. Estonia just over the water from Finland. Probably the furthest north I've been in Europe. I'll be honest. Is it northwest? No, northeast Europe, isn't it? It feels Baltic. I'm in the Baltics. Anyway, what happened? Well, today I'm going to introduce an amazing guest called Phil. Phil actually owns, with his lovely good lady, the Wildlife Dreams. And he was in the audience at some of my talks, and he and I chinwagged. We chatted. He reached out, and next thing I know, I'm in Estonia with him in a wooden cabin that looks like something out of Hobbit. So in this episode, we're going to talk about real connections, no clout, not for likes, not for SEO tweaking, and how it builds a career. We're unpacking how one encounter takes me from a talk in the UK to shooting abroad. And we're not just shooting here. Phil's going to talk all about it and how it started without even having a pitch, but just showing up as myself. So let's go. So hi, Phil.
Hi, Khandie.
How are you feeling?
Really excited.
How many podcasts have you been on?
This is my first one. So I am a virgin.
Touched for the very first time. Well, way back in March, think back in March, you saw me speak, we had a chinwag. What made you go, that's the dork I want in my hide with me? I mean, was it the swearing? Was it the eccentric dress, the wild hair, the orange eyebrows?
It was you being yourself, really. And direct. I'm a direct person. I think photographers tend to stick to their comfort zones, and it's even that I said, do you know Khandie? And someone said, yeah, I think so. I'm inviting Khandie to my wildlife hide in Estonia. And they went, what the? And I went, yes.
Can I just say to people, I don't shoot wildlife. I shoot fashion, portraits. I mean, I shoot my dogs, and I've been known to shoot the odd nightlife, which some might argue is quite like wildlife. But you and I decided we're going to do a little bit of a skill swap in old Estonia.
Yes. And you said, when can you come out? I did some digging, and this week is Estonian Fashion Week in Tartu. And I said, we're going. And then
I was like, done, I've booked a flight, mate. I'm on my way. And you were like, that quick? I'm like, yeah, that quick. I do believe in jumping for the moment, as we know.
Yes.
If you don't know, right now we are literally sat in the hide. So if you see us get excited, it's because we're waiting for animals to arrive. When I say, if those who don't know what a hide is, can you explain what a hide is?
So a hide can be anything that hides you from what you want to photograph. So whether you're a private eye, whether you're...
Yes, I'm a stealthy spy looking at kingfishers.
So this is a state-of-the-art wildlife hide, one of the best in Europe, with one-way photographic glass. So you can see the wildlife and they can't see you. And you get very close to wildlife, get their natural behaviour.
It's fantastic, isn't it? I have to say, I've never been in one, but obviously now you've spoiled me for all the others I go in.
Well,
this one's got Wi-Fi for a start.
Wi-Fi, kitchen.
Compost, toilet, kitchen, beer on tap. Well, not quite on tap, but in cans.
In cans.
Gin and tonics poured rather heavily. So I just want to go back to the topic of this one, because we are going to go on to more of the wildlife and how we get on with it. It's wild to think that there are so many photographers out there who feel that they need to have so many followers, so much polished work to get ahead. And yet you've just said you didn't even once look at that of me. It was getting to know me.
Yes.
That made you want me to come along here and connect with me. That sounds really deep. I mean, we wanted to connect.
We wanted to connect.
And I showed up and said yes. Do you think, do you think there is a lack of authenticity at times, particularly in this modern age of social media, like you get people who have thousands of followers, but they aren't perhaps the most authentic people you've met? Or
Oh, most definitely, because in my email box or on Instagram, I get constant message, come and do it. We'll give you 20,000 likes or 20. But I don't want that. I want people that are genuine, that get excited. So we had a wagtail outside Khandie's bedroom windows, and it was bobbing his little tail. And she goes, "Is that?" I said, "Oh, Jay, there's a woodpecker and there's a jay." And we just been out.
we had coffee.
We have.
And I saw 4 different species of bird.
Yes.
And it was like I had just walked past Brad Pitt and all his mates for me, wasn't it? I was so excited. Because I'm used to seeing pigeons with gammy feet back in Northampton if I'm lucky. So I have to say, I was a bit concerned when you said, I have that little bit of caution. Hey, do you want to come out to Estonia? I've got this hut in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, this is how I die. But yeah, oddly, I was like, is there going to be coffee? And you said, yeah, and gin. I was like, well, I'm in and packing my bags now. I'm the most complicit kidnap victim, it seems. But I remember thinking, like, I need to find out what's expected of me and what I needed. And we had that very grown up talk, didn't we? And we had a chat and a few chats. Do you think that in collaboration there is an element of exploitation? So people sometimes they go, let's collaborate, but it's very one side heavy. Like you get people saying, oh, I'm a great influencer or I'm a content creator, I'll do this for you. And what happens is they just want the jolly and they create content just for themselves without thinking maybe of brands or who gave them the opportunity.
Yes, and I did have influencer.
Can't name names because I'll get sued.
Sorry, no, it wasn't.
Well, you can get sued. I don't care.
Get sued. That said, oh, I can put your business out there and everything else. And we got on well, but he didn't post a single week that he was actually in Estonia. So,
did he post after?
Yeah. But
you wanted it live?
I want things live because I feel that people want to live the live story, and having images from your camera, having video and just everything else. And no, and then he didn't know what a small bird was.
Oh, okay.
I was going to cough on him.
Right.
Sorry about that. But we have had just something really exciting happen. So I showed Khandie a new project that I'm developing in Estonia, which she thought, oh my God, I thought the hide was amazing. This is going to be
the
well, down the well. No, the push is down the well.
I was thinking of The Ring, the horror movie, The Ring, when she comes up. I'm like, we're going to make a horror movie here.
You could do.
I mean, it is out down the bottom of a dirt track. There's an old abandoned barn and a well. I do think we've just crossed over into the Ring element of horror movies.
Wow, we had that last night coming back from the airport.
We were telling ghost stories.
And it got foggy. And I missed the turning of my road.
No one was going on this. You freaked out.
This big iron statue of a man. And Khandie went, I said, what now? It's all right. We just passed off.
Well, I'll just say, in the daytime, it's no less scary. It's a very large mirror. But getting back to what this podcast about, because the viewers are like, I'm sure I looked into this to know about how to make connections. So I think that there's a lot of photographers out there who feel that the opportunities are locked behind paywalls or algorithms, that they need to boost all their numbers constantly. But I have to say, a lot is lost in photography when it comes to soft skills, like the human skills, the human element, and how your career doesn't always grow if you force it. In fact, it can make you appear like, dare I say it, a bit of a sellout. And you're creating content that you hope gets attraction, but it's not natural to you. So then when people meet you, you're quite the opposite of what your content has been. So I remember meeting a photographer who her entire feed is her jumping on the trends and looking very cool and very together. And then when you meet her, she's completely the opposite. And I was like, oh, and it was not that she's any less of a great person, but they don't correlate for me. And actually I was like, I kind of feel like I don't actually know you at all now.
Yeah. And I've had several people who have met me and they've gone, "Oh, you're exactly what I thought you would be like." And I don't.
I don't know if that's ever a good thing. But then at least I'm not hiding. I am true to myself.
Yes. And I spend all my days in a hide, looking at a perch, waiting for something to happen. And then we have a goshawk turn up. And
Now we're sat here with a cup of coffee. Well, you haven't got one.
no, the coffee's getting
How
cold.
important do you think it is for photographers to remember that they shouldn't be chasing likes and shares on content? They should actually be spending time networking, but networking without, oh, what can I get from that person?
Oh,
That's a very heavy question, isn't it?
it is. But totally,
I think burping into the mic. I'm so sorry.
It's not. It's who you know and what you know and being genuine and having your connection. So I will do 2 stories because there's always a story for me. So my web designer, Ian Middleton, is doing a fantastic job on my new website. And then he messages me and said, Jack Lodge wants to come to Estonia. And those people who don't know Jack Lodge, he's Khandie's new ambassador. He's an amazing landscape photographer.
I'm Googling him now.
He does wildlife. And I messaged him and he says, Phil, I want to come out. I want to come out winter, do all your amazing...
Is he from Dorset?
He's from Dorset and I come from Hampshire.
So I'm from Devon. We're the southern quarter, aren't we?
We definitely are. So
he's a very, very talented guy.
Yes. And
Sorry.
he'll hopefully need my landscape courses in.
Funny enough, I'm currently on his one-to-one tuition page on his website. Jack Lodge. What a great name for a landscape photographer. Couldn't be any more aptly named, really, is he? Other than, I don't know, Cliff or something.
It is. And it is about being yourself. And people do see through you, you know. I had Ashley Barnard here. And
you are name-dropping heavy names.
Am I not?
I mean, it's cool. You're doing it, not me.
Okay.
I can't name drop. Who can I name drop?
But he did our first YouTube video. And he's messaged out to me and said, Phil, I want to be the first. And he's known for his wedding and portrait photography, and he's doing his wildlife work. And yeah, and he's just bringing strange people. And it was just a random message. Actually, I was just seeing one of your YouTube videos. Do you want to come out to Estonia? And he went, yes. And check out his YouTube video of the first person ever
to christen the lodge. The first one to use the toilet. The first one, well, probably not actually. We're probably building it. The first person to click the shutter here.
Yeah, one of the first.
Okay, obviously you did it first. We were the first non-owner.
Yes.
First non-owner. I feel like you should have in here like a wall of chuff. Do you know that wall of chuff? We have it in the military, a chuff chart. Like people who like their photos or what they've caught, how many times someone's caught a buzzard, something, you know, like that. Animal chuff chart. How many goshawks have been spotted? Like a little...
The wall. The wildlife wall.
Yeah. Just so you know, where we're sat now, you've got a bear that comes up here sometimes, which I'm pretty excited about because I'm equally petrified, I'll be honest, because I made the mistake of watching grizzly bear attacks on the plane over.
Oh, grizzly bear with cocaine or something. Not that one.
No, the grizzly bear that went after someone's ham sandwich in America.
What? Not Timothy Treadwell.
I can't remember, but I was like, oh, this is how I die. I get kidnapped in Estonia by a random guy called Phil and I get fed to a bear. That's how I had it in my head for a brief second.
I was in Alaska when I had my plane crash. And
sorry, what? In our next episode, we're going to do the exciting life of Phil, plane crashes and bear chasing.
Yeah, and yes, I'm afraid I was there when Timothy Treadwell was eaten alive by a grizzly bear, and very sad story, but he was mentally not all there, but he thought he could live with bears in the winter and the summer, and you can't. But we've got European...
Sorry, we were talking about connections and you've just made it into a menu item. Not trying to... Sorry, I'm not saying someone's death is like comical, but the tedious link that we've gone to on that.
Wow. And you did have one of my famous sausage sandwiches for breakfast this morning.
That's not a euphemism, ladies and gents. I did actually have a sandwich back. sausage wrap. So back on track to what this topic was. One of the things I really I start to notice is that some people people aren't comfortable being themselves. And I found that the moment I stopped trying to, because I talked about this before on the podcast, the moment I stopped pretending to be this kind of photographer that was, oh, I wanted to be everyone's best friend, and I didn't want to be outspoken. I just wanted to be the yes person, go with the flow. And then about 5-6 years ago, I went, oh no, this is crap. And I remember sitting at an event and everyone was going on about how great it was online. And I was like, did we go to the same event? It was absolutely trash. And I said about it, and people were like, oh no, but we don't tell people that you can't say that. And I realized that there are some things that have got success because people are too scared to really say what it's about. And I just went, you know what? I'm not going to be that person, which is why I started this podcast and why it's called The Loud Lens, and why I wrote the book, and why this podcast actually has got the tagline "Photography's Middle Finger." Because sometimes we do have to flip the bird and go, no, it's not my circus. It's not my. I'm going to say no. Do you think there needs to be more people being authentic and not just pretending to be authentic in this industry? Or do you think it sometimes pays well to be the yes man? That's a very heavy question again.
Oh my God, yes men.
Yes men or women or whoever.
Well, I've been
Yes persons.
both. I've been a yes man, and have thought of things and have not said things because it would be not the right time or place to do it. And I've been in meetings where I was kicked in the shins because I was a very large company and I was asked what did I think of their bird hides, and I told them that they were absolutely awful. And when was the last time that you've been in one of their hides? Their directors went, I haven't. And there was just then a silence because he actually answered the question of what, but it was the wrong place for me to say that. So,
I would argue it's not the wrong place to say it. See, I have this different mentality. Like, if it comes to money and time, which is one of the two things. One, money, you can always earn extra money, but you might not get the same amount back. Time is something you don't get to get again. And I've always been, about 6 years ago, like I said, I had that mind switch that I am not going to advocate for people to waste their time if I genuinely don't think it's good. So I did this switch where when people I used to have, I don't know like you, I used to get people offering me to review products, yeah?
yes.
And I would be like, I would never buy that product in the first place. So why? I don't want to review it. And then I remember, and I'm not going to name the name, there was a brand that offered me a substantial amount of money. I mean, substantial back in the day, like 2 years ago, to say that I used this product and I didn't use this product. And they said, it doesn't matter, we'll pay you as long as you tell people you used it. And I was like, that is what's everything wrong with the social media industry, not just photography. And I looked around and I checked who else was advertising this product. Now, I'm not saying they don't use that product, but it made me wonder, do they actually use that product? And I know it would be ignorant to say there aren't people who don't perhaps, shall we say, colour the diagram a little bit more fruitfully. That's not even the correct words, but to say they use something. And I decided that I wanted to be as true as I could and be, dare I say, put myself on this little platform where I do what I do and I say what I do. Like, I can't say to you, hey, I use this brand, and actually I've never used this brand before. Or the worst thing I hate, this is something I'm going to say to you. Do you know when people get a brand new product and go, they've had it like a week and they go, oh my God, this has changed everything in my life. Where have you been all my life? I love it. How can you tell me that after a week? Shoot with it in the rain, shoot with it in the wind, shoot low light, highlight, shoot when you're on the running gun, carry it around. How does it survive being bashed about in a bag? Then review it for me. I don't understand how you can review a product, tell everyone it's amazing after you've had it for 3 or 4 days. That's not a review. That's an unboxing.
Yes.
And you start to notice it, don't you?
And I think you get caught out. I think that if you say too many lies and people look at your images, people that are close to you know the kit that you're using. They know what you do. And then you can go up this ladder and then someone wants to pull the ladder from you. And I think with social media now, you just have to be so careful. So be your truth. And that's why I love you, because
I paid him. Paid you loads of money, pretend you love me. Just love me, Phil. This podcast has gone down a dark turn. This episode is chaotic.
well, that's what it's supposed to be. It's live from the hide.
Yeah, we're not editing this. This is us. We are literally sat in the hide. I'm gonna post a selfie on my Instagram. If you're watching this live, I'm gonna literally put this out today, which is the 9th of June, and it'll be on my Instagram at Khandie photo of me and Phil. Literally, in fact, I'm gonna take it now while we're sat here with a microphone, so then people know that we are actually doing this. I do struggle with. Do you remember when a new product comes out and you can guarantee every YouTuber's using it?
Yes.
Oh God, I look well weird with my hair. Hang on, selfie time. There we go. Right, I'll post that. I get quite annoyed with the hype that comes with. So there's a new product come out, every photographer has it.
Yeah.
And they're all like, it's amazing, it's amazing. And I very rarely hear negative in that first thing. I know, and I know that's because brands don't want to say it. So that's why I never buy something the moment it comes out. I will let it bed in for 6 months, a year, maybe. And I will go play with it. If I'm that person that goes to trade shows and touches it and plays with it, and then like, so what happens on this? What happens on it? Because I don't think people test stuff enough. There is all this tech. If you don't know, I think it's believed, the largest percentage of YouTube videos are tech reviews, and for photography particularly. And sometimes I get these reviews, and there was one on a camera that had just been released, and everyone was like, "It's amazing! It's amazing!" It was the first week, and then about 6 months later, it had focusing issues, and the battery would overheat. And I was like, "Why did none of those people pick that up?" Oh, that's right, because everyone was just doing an extended unboxing video. And there is this element of trying to make a fake persona that you're this big deal.
So you're talking about me unboxing my R7?
No, I am not. No, I am not.
Because I did do one of those boxing.
It's an unboxing. You labelled it as an unboxing. Here I am, ASMR, sliding it open. But it's also like when people, I spoke about certain things, like I do my own personal reviews and opinions on certain events I go to, certain things, and I am very open about it. I remember doing one ages ago about a Rotolite event years and years ago, and I said what was really funny is Rotolite were trying to sell us this product, but no one could touch it. I said I thought that was utterly ridiculous. Why am I going to spend? This is back when Rotolite were first sort of out there. Why would I spend all this money and you won't let me hold it? You won't let me adjust it. And and people are like, oh yeah, but they're really expensive and they only had a few. And I'm like, yeah, but you're trying to make me buy one. But everyone else had reviewed this thing as like it was the best thing ever. And I'm like, why can't I touch the product you want me to buy? It's not like it's a cake, is it? My fingers aren't going to destroy it permanently.
And we could go off the tangent. I was going to take you talking about cake.
Oh, no, we went to that cake thing. We'll do that on another time.
We'll do a podcast from
Coffee shop.
The coffee shop near the local village that if you love cakes, it is to die for.
Okay, right. We'll close this one out today, I think. We've rambled. First of all, Phil, well, I have. Thanks, Phil, for being here. It reminded me that the whole damn point of me doing what I'm doing, why I changed the way I was, to actually changed to be myself, which is really surreal. I'm no longer afraid to say no. I'm no longer afraid to go, I don't like that, because I've realized my brand is about me being very truthful to what I like and what I don't like, and I will attract the right people. And this is why now I'm in Estonia being kidnapped in a hide. So if you're like me and you're tired of screaming to that void online and getting nowhere, maybe it's time to stop performing for the room and start connecting instead, making friends with strange men on stands who have hides in Estonia, saying yes to opportunities, jumping on that plane, getting in that car, getting on the train, or simply going for a coffee in your local town with somebody who says, hey. So it's time to be in the room and actually be in the room as yourself, I think, isn't it? Or in the hide.
In the hide. But no, it's definitely, I think you should follow your own path, go with your own gut, and you just never know what path will turn up. And I think this is what's going to be really exciting about this week, because we both ramble on and we go on about different tangents. But
it's very, very us.
It's going to be such a wild week,
And to think this all started because I was dressed like Coco the Clown on a stage in London. Or well, technically Birmingham you first saw me, wasn't it?
Birmingham several years ago.
Yeah. Oh God, you're aging me.
I said, I love your style. I love how direct you are. I want you to come to Estonia when we build our hide. And you went, yeah.
We never said that first when I met you in Birmingham. We never did that. And then when we came to London, you asked me and I was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. And I thought nothing of it. Like I emailed you like you said. I had no expectations. And then you were like, no, seriously. So I think the next day I bought a ticket, didn't I?
You did.
I was like, all right, I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's go. In fact, £330 pound I was in.
And yes, and it's going to be exciting.
So it's all done now.
Because I'm going to photograph a fashion.
Which we're doing a role reversal. So this has been The Loud Lens. If you've liked this episode, share it with your fellow photographers, talk about it, follow Phil. You can find you at wildlife-dreams.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the social medias to go with that. And until next time, stop following the crowd. They'll only lead you over a cliff. That's what I'm going to say. Don't.
If you've got any questions,
Yes.
please ask us. It could be, if it's a wildlife question, if it's...
Don't ask me. I've just learned to photograph a bird, mate. It's cute. It's cute.
Question. And Khandie, we're already discussing her marketing skills are absolutely amazing. Next year, we're already deciding to plan a Estonian fashion week
Gathering.
Our accommodation is actually in a brewery.
And street photography we're going to do.
Street photography.
But we'll cover that all in a new episode. So for now, from Phil and I, the Debbie McGee and Paul Daniels of this. No, who else famous? Tom and Jerry? No, not Tom and Jerry. What about Muttley and Dick Dastardly? Oh, that's going to be horrible on the podcast. Take care. Goodbye. Well, stay safe. Don't go to Estonia in hides with random men you meet in London. Bye, Phil.
Bye, Khandie.